Hey there guys, and welcome back. Sometimes I feel like I have to put a disclaimer on some of these videos reminding people that it's okay for me not to be like the most skilled player at whatever random game it is that I'm playing. Here for Tecmo Super Bowl, I at least like to think that I'm doing a little bit better than before. We're playing Michigan, so we'll see how we do this week. Yesterday I put up, the Joe Montana football, NFL 94 video. And I got a number of comments from people telling me that, I'm an awful player of the game, I don't know what I'm doing, and that this is wrong, that is wrong, and so on and so forth. Yeah, you can kind of like take it as you will. I'm trying to give you like an honest version of what that game is like. NFL 94 is a problematic game. A lot of those games are pretty problematic. I would argue that, the overall flow of the game, the speed issues and stuff are really apparent when you go back and you play something like this instead. This game has much better sort of, speed and much better, options for you when you're playing it and stuff like that. Wow, I can't believe that we got that. By the way, I didn't even look into taking out Emoa and putting LJ back in, so maybe that's going to hurt us. I don't know. Emo is not fast, but nobody can bring him down. So, okay, well, we'll go ahead and run with him for a while, and if it doesn't work, then we'll take him out. I didn't even think about that. I was going to do that. See, this is what happens when it's been a couple of days since I last played. I forget what I'm doing. And we'll run here with Bear. Nobody even close to him. So, just like that, we go up 7-0. How about that? But yeah, anyway, I mean, the whole idea behind, playing like NFL 94 and whatever is just to have something that's somewhat casual. In fact, really, the whole point behind doing this as well is to have something that is somewhat casual. It's not to have like the master class in this game. I'm not interested in doing a speed run. I'm not interested in necessarily like showing people exactly the way to play and you have to do it this way and all that stuff. It's just not what this is all about. So if that's what you're expecting, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Man, why are we playing so well? This is really surprising. I mean, I don't think that like BYU last season was like a horrible team necessarily, but I don't think that we were this good. All right, well, something will happen here to bring us back down to earth, right? You see that with Emoa? That was almost one of those Bo Jackson things. That's what I was talking about him. He's Bo Emoa. Alright, well, I wonder what I'll do this time. 3rd and 7. Maybe I'll pass. Oh no, wait. Why would I pass? I don't need to pass. Right, when he can just flatten guys who are in his way, Now we can call a pass like this and see if we can have a little bit of fun with it, huh? I love how the middle linebacker just sort of stands there when I run right next to him. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with this game for the next long-form video, or scripted video, I should say, on this channel. We're going to put out a video here. We're going to talk about whether Tecmo Super Bowl is the best game on the NES, period. So I want to look at this sort of in the context of other great NES games and sort of see what we come out with. There was a Reddit post a couple of years ago that made that argument. I don't know if it's necessarily the best argument in the world, but I want to look into this and sort of think about it from a couple different perspectives. I can tell you that one of the advantages that this game has is that it's very much like an RPG. Now, I do think that in terms of sports games, there is one sports game that can give it a run for its money, and that would be Baseball Stars. Right now, Baseball Stars doesn't have like the fancy licenses and all of that stuff. But Baseball Stars does have the RPG elements that this game does not necessarily have. I'm surprised that it'll let it choose a punt, even though time just ran out. Usually the game doesn't let you do that, but whatever. So anyway, that's something that's coming up. Look for that video coming in the near future on this channel, and we'll have a fun time talking about that and, see how many angry comments we get there. That's part of the fun of doing YouTube, is that you get a lot of people who end up being really upset with you for no reason, people you've never met and will never meet. Now, there was no possible way for me to know that that guy was triple covered like that. Anyway, I think I'm going to stick with running from now on. Boy, man, they got 2 really good blocks on me, and that was the end. Jordan Marshall with the big run. And that's turned this into a ball game again. For a second there, I thought we were going to run away with it. I was a little bit surprised. Anyway, it's a kind of quiet season right now in college football world, so you're seeing all sorts of, you know, people talking about stuff that's not really pertinent to anything, and you know, I keep reading people who swear to me that, you know, the Big Ten and these other conferences are going to like just jettison off teams that they don't really want and all this stuff. And anyway, I don't know. Maybe that happens. Maybe it doesn't. The problem we have right now is that this game is going to be tied. The problem that you have with those big conferences is that if you really convince yourself that you don't want like the Rutgers of the world and teams like that, then you're going to wind up in a conference where really good teams end up having really bad records every once in a while, right? You kind of need some other teams to beat up on and other teams to play. Now, this is not just a football thing. You see this in every single sport, which is that, you know, teams have this tendency to forget that they need, you know, other teams in the league to play against. You can't just play against yourself. Right. I mean, it's a major issue. It's an issue you see all the time in like the NBA and in baseball and stuff like that. You know, how come you can't be good? Jeez, shoot, man. How come you can't be a good team, you know, like this team over here and so on and so forth? The unfortunate thing is that sports is very much a zero-sum game in which if you win, another team has to lose. You cannot have a scenario in which every single team wins every single time. Right, and that's a big part of the problem. And when you understand that that's the case, it really does impact the way that you look overall at sports. And it helps, I think, you understand kind of, you know, what is and what is not possible in terms of like reforming sports or whatever it is you want to do. I know I shouldn't have gone for the dive there, but there's really not much else that I could do. They have a pretty good offensive line, and that's kind of what's hurting us here. There we go. I got through that time. Still gave up the first down, though, but this will mean that they may have one other play. If we can hold them here, we'll hold them to a field goal, and this game will still be within reach. Or that'll happen. Jordan Marshall again, and this is starting to get a little bit ugly, so you might want to hide the children. All right, 23-14. So I tell you, you've probably noticed this here on this channel. We've had a little period of maybe not full inactivity, but less frequent activity. YouTube keeps telling me that more people are interested in my videos, but I'm not uploading enough of them. So we're going to try to push a little bit more. I'm not sure how many more videos I'm going to be able to do today other than just this one, because I've got to get a couple of other things, you know, ready to go and so on and so forth. It's been a pretty busy weekend. I didn't get to bed till about midnight last night, yeah, it's not been much fun. Today here, I'm looking out the window. We have the beginnings of a snowstorm. We're supposed to get like, you know, probably 3 to 5 inches tonight. And then the big question is whether the kids have school tomorrow, which they probably will not, given the nature of the snow. So then we'll see what we end up doing. Yeah, it's turning out to be another one of those weeks. Here in Northern Virginia, it's not normal for us to have 2 major snowstorms in the same season. That's definitely not normal. I mean, the first storm that we had was kind of historic in its longevity and in how like frustratingly icy and cold it was. This one should be a lot shorter and a lot, you know, kind of nicer for us, but really sort of setting up to be a pretty like long winter. All right, we'll give Mo a couple more chances here, and if he's still having a hard time, we might just take him out. Yeah, I think it's probably about time to take him out. Let's see if we can sneak this first down. Yeah, we got it. All right, so Imoa, you've done very well for us, but we're going to put LJ Martin back in. Now let's see if Martin's speed can help us out a little bit. It is definitely different, though, running with this guy. I mean, he's faster, sure, but he doesn't have that ability to, like, throw off every single would-be tackler. And, you know, by the way, when it comes to, like, why Tecmo Super Bowl is such a great game, that's one of the reasons why. It's because, you know, you really have players that have individual strengths and weaknesses that, you know, are obvious because of, like, their playing style and so on. You know, I mean, it's just so deep. Even the base game itself is deep because there's so many players that you can explore and so many, like, scenarios you can run and stuff like that, you know. All right, keep going. See, this is just like the Oilers game yesterday, right? I mean, like, why even pass, man? Why pass when you can run like this? Keep it going, keep it going. Oh, shoot. Yeah, you knew that was going to happen. Well, I hate to say this, but that's probably one too many runs by us. So that's probably the best chance that we're going to have in this game. Unless we can, like, miraculously get something. You know, I'm just not seeing it happen. Well, that's a pretty big play. I mean, they were not going to be in field goal territory anyway, but that gives us a little bit of a chance. I think it's time to start passing again. We went through that whole Illinois game without passing. I don't think we had a single pass in that game, and we were trying to do the same thing here today. And I think I've been convinced that I need to pass the ball every now and then. All right. Oh shoot, that's a man, he was covered and I didn't see it. Oh, that's an awful pass. I probably shouldn't be doing 3 passes in a row like this, but we'll go ahead and give it a try. That was kind of a weird animation there on the catch. It was almost like the pass was behind him a little bit, and then there was a little bit of a jerk to the screen, and suddenly it turned out that he caught it. Boy, I kind of wish that we had Emo out there. We could just knock them away. Alright, let's give this a try. Might as well. Yep, that's according to plan. Okay. Ah, crap. That's the one problem with having, you know, this slow lumbering guy out there, which is that if they guess right, I mean, we don't stand a chance. But if they guess wrong like that, then we do have a chance. So, I mean, you take what you can get. All right, this is pretty much the ball game. Oh man. Oh man. That does it. That does it. Interception in the end zone, and that's really the end of our chances. I mean, we can try here. Let's see, we called for a pass, and you know, they're gonna get us. So when you're talking about like this being the best NES game and so on and so forth, the one problem with this game, the only real problem is the defensive system, because you're just guessing what the other team's play is. It works fairly well, but it's honestly it's kind of janky in terms of a football game, you know, especially since there were competitor games out there that made it so you could choose your own plays. But anyway, that's probably the only complaint that I had. Yeah. This was a fun game. We went up and it looked like we were going to just cruise to the finish line, but we were not able to make it happen. Alright, here's the desperation heave. Trying to make the scoreline look at least somewhat reasonable. How many interceptions was that? We gave up 23 points in that second quarter. That was the killer for us. Bachmeier only a 14% completion percentage. I think from here on out, I'm just going to run. 37 yards passing and 3 interceptions. So it was pretty ugly. Pretty ugly overall. Yeah, so much for that one. We're going to go up to week 11, I think. And we'll kind of go from there. So yeah, I mean, you know, this version of Tecmo Super Bowl is okay. I think it's well designed. I think it's fun to play. I do think though that it's, I think it's going to be a lot more fun to play with the NFL version of this. I'm not even sure if it's out yet. I haven't been on the forums for a while, and we have a ways to go before we're done with this project. But I do think that when we get to the NFL version, it's going to be a lot more fun and probably a lot more engaging to watch. The other thing that we might want to consider doing is changing some of the plays. Like there's one passing play I almost never call because it's that rollout passing play, and it's not much fun to do in this game. I know that if you look at the notes, they're supposed to have fixed it so that, you know, you're not always going to get sacked when you call it. But even still, it's not much fun to have it where you can't move your quarterback right after the snap. So it is. We'll take a quick look here at the standings and see sort of where we are. This is where we are. We're 3-2, and we're still up at the top. Texas Tech is over the top along with Arizona State. Now, if you look over at the Big Ten, of course, it's Indiana, who are still undefeated, who are incredible. Michigan actually 3-3. So that gives us an idea kind of where we rank in this game of things. In other words, we're definitely not, you know, a hugely competitive, wonderful team. But we definitely gave them a good ride today. And, you know, it was fun for about, 5 minutes or so. So there you have it. Anyway, I will probably not talk to you until tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Take care.